All righty. Awesome. So thanks, Brad, for wanting to come on and share your story. It's really an honor to have you on. I love it.
No worries, man. No
Yeah.
worries. Where,
Yeah.
where are you? Where are you out of?
Yeah, just south of Winnipeg in Steinbach. So
Okay.
yeah, home of Ian White, I guess you could say, and
Okay. Yeah.
Olympian Michelle Swatsky, who's also been on the show as well. So
Okay. Awesome.
Um, yeah, and
Good
then
stuff.
yeah, our Steinbach Pistons, we got Cole Smith, who now plays for Nashville. Uh,
hmm hmm
he played his hockey here. We're actually very good friends with his billets, and yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, it's kind of crazy where all the connections and everything else. So yeah, it's good,
Yeah. Yeah.
good, good.
Sweet.
So, where should we start? Tell us a bit about your NHL career, kind of that process. We'll talk about maybe some of the Stanley Cups, some of your
Sure.
appropriate stories from coaches and that sort of thing. I don't expect you to tell me everything. That's all good. So
Yeah.
again, real pleasure to talk to you on the phone a few weeks ago, touching base and stuff like that. But yeah, so you're from Cranbrook, in that area there, and then kind of take it from there. You got drafted with the New York Islanders. You're supporting that hat, and
Yeah. Yeah. I got my Islanders hat on today. I
yeah.
had my bad hair, and I was like, I need a hat. Let's grab one. And they're still in, so I'm like,
Yeah,
okay. This will work. This will
yeah,
work.
yeah. Me too. Me too. It's
Yeah. It's like whoa.
I can't get a haircut till Friday, so they had an opening today at 9:45, but I had this, so we're good to go.
Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, just kind of take us back to those beginnings, I guess, when you were drafted with the Islanders in '94, and then kind of that progression, and then we'll kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm a BC boy. I was born in Vancouver, actually. Surrey, British Columbia is where I was actually born. That's the hospital I was in. But the reason I was there is my mom is from White Rock, and my
Okay.
dad was playing pro hockey still at the same time. And he was home for the summer doing a hockey school, living with my mom out that way in White Rock, and with my sister. And basically, I was born and we were shipped off to the States about 2 weeks later. We were down in, I think it was Virginia Beach is where I lived my first year. My dad was playing down there. And then
Mhm.
he was doing the minor circuit, and mom and dad said, you know what, we got two kids, enough is enough. Let's go home and get a real job. And basically that's what happened. So they wound up, if you go from Vancouver to Battleford, where my dad was from, near Saskatoon, you
Yeah.
just kind of go in the middle of them, 10 hours each way. You're stuck in Cranbrook, BC, which wound up being a pretty cool spot, man. It's right in the heart of the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful, beautiful settings. Every time you go outside, it's a postcard. I mean, it was an awesome place to grow up.
Hmm.
9,000 people, really safe town. Everybody leaves their doors open, which is cool because if you're out of mac and cheese, you just go to your neighbors and grab it out of the pantry and come home and make it, which I did quite a bit at the Handies and the Dolls place. So it was an awesome place to grow up. Street hockey, from 6 a.m. till the lights come on at night, which in the summer that's pretty late. So a lot of street hockey with your family, friends. A lot. If you couldn't find, if it wasn't a game on your street or it ended early, you just go around the corner and there's one right there. So it was an awesome place to grow up. Had amazing coaching. Colin Patterson, he was just an incredible human being, but incredible coach. My dad, those are the two guys that really I give all the credit to for my upbringing.
Hmm.
Extra piece of ice that was available, they were willing to let me come out with other teams, with the older guys. And so with the Zamboni drivers, I used to chase the Zamboni. That was free ice for 15 minutes. So I would just hang out at the rink. And when the Zamboni got on, I would kind of chase the Zamboni around. So little things like that. In the small town living, it was awesome. You could get away with a lot more. And, you go on the ice at midnight with your dad and do some after a Cranbrook Royals game. That's what my dad wound up playing senior hockey.
Hmm.
Um, they won the Allen Cup there, which was a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
Uh, I vaguely remember it actually, which is pretty cool. I remember we actually had the trophy in our house, like in our kitchen. There's pictures of us in our kitchen with it, and really cool stuff. And then I wound up, I was a decent player. Wound up playing for the Cranbrook Royals in the Rocky Mountain Junior Hockey League.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following year, I wound up with the Kamloops Blazers in 1994, and it was just a dream come true to play for the greatest organization, junior organization in my opinion ever. And still to this day, I think they've just done an incredible job with that city. The way they treat those players, the way the players respect the city, it's just such a give and take. It's awesome. I love Kamloops. It'd probably be the place if I was to move back to Canada. That'd be the area I'd love to go back to. So I just love the Kamloops thing. And then being a champ there, 94, 95, they bring us back for reunions to still, they're always invited back every year. It was fantastic. But that 94 year was a good year for me. I was probably the fifth or sixth defenseman on the team.
Mm-hmm.
A couple injuries happened throughout the year, seized an opportunity here and there. And then when you go to the Memorial Cup final, all eyes are on you. TSN is your national, so you're international, depending on how many people are watching. And I had a good tournament, and I was ranked 150th or something like that in the sixth round. I wound up going to the fourth round to the Islanders, who was my favorite team growing up. Long story short, my dad is really good friends with Lauren Henning, and Lauren Henning was an Islander. My dad was in the dressing room when the Islanders won a bunch of cups. They were that close. Yeah, they were like wingers in New Westminster together. So I actually had my tonsils out. So I got my tonsils out the day before the draft, and I was in like downstairs in my bed recovering. And it's kind of funny because the first round, is the first day. Obviously, you go in the first round. I'm going to probably, sixth, seventh round is kind of where I am, depending on, where the Europeans and all that come into the draft.
Right.
Sure enough, phone rang real early in the morning, and we're like, "Ooh, this is interesting." So, and my bedroom was downstairs. I heard my mom running downstairs and kind of almost falling down the stairs, and rips the door open. She's like, "Get upstairs. You've been drafted. There's a team on the phone." She didn't even tell me, right? So I run up the stairs real quick, and my dad's holding the phone, and I'm like pointing at my neck because I can't talk.
Yeah.
I literally had my tonsils out like 12 hours before. I'm like, and they go, "They know. We just told them. It's all good."
Yeah.
So I get on the phone, and it's Lauren, and he goes, "Hey, Brad." And he goes, "Grunt if you're there." I'm like, Ugh. He goes, "Okay, well, just want to give the information. You've been drafted in the fourth round of the New York Islanders. It's a really cool situation. We drafted Jason Holland in the second round, Jason Strudwick in the third round, and you're in the fourth round. We got winners. We got 3 Blazers. This is just incredible." I'm like, "This is awesome." Sorry. So he goes, "Just grunt and then give the phone back to your dad so we can talk to him." Like, gave it back to him, went back downstairs and went to bed. I kept took some T3s and went back to bed, man. I was done. So you know how it works, though. You get drafted to bring you down to camp. So they bring me down to camp 10 days later. I should have pulled this picture out. I have this picture of, I hadn't eaten in like a week. So I was like 185 pounds when I was drafted. I was about 145, 155 pounds, just skinny little rail, no muscle mass or anything. I've been laying around for a couple of days, after the Memorial Cup and all that. And then I got my tonsils out, all that jazz. I come into camp, I open the door, and Lindros is standing there. This guy is like, "Okay, there, that's perfect," because his shoulders wouldn't even fit on the screen right here.
Yeah.
He's talking to Todd Bertuzzi. So the two of them are these just giant men, full beards. And then I walk in with my bag, and they're like, "Yeah, just put his bag there." And I'm like, "No, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I'm your roommate." But I couldn't talk. I could kind of talk a little bit. It was like, and they're like, "Oh, you're the guy with the tonsils." But, "Oh, they told you about it." They're like, "Yeah, I mean, they told us that you probably can't talk and all this stuff." But I'm like, "That's me." They probably wish I would have. By the end of it, I could talk pretty good, and I'm pretty sure they were hoping that they could take out another tonsil about halfway through because I wouldn't shut up. So I was just excited to be a part of the Islanders. It was really cool. Brian McCabe, Todd Bertuzzi, Lindros, Pichot, like those guys were just such cool guys, and none of us really ever got to play together. They kind of ripped that team apart when Maloney got fired. But so a lot of us didn't get to play together, but still to this day, a lot of us just have that bond. And every time we see each other, we have a good laugh. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
That was an awesome time being drafted by the Islanders.
That's awesome. I chuckle. My daughter got her tonsils out a month ago. And then I saw her 3 hours after the surgery. I'm like, oh, this isn't bad. But then, yeah, she was down and out
Oh
for
yeah.
a week. So
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. Talk about Kamloops. So you played with Tucker, you played with Aginla.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Don Hay was your
Yep.
was your
The
coach.
man. Yeah. Hazer was the man.
Yeah, Don Hay is still having influence in this game. If memory serves me correct, when the Memorial Cup was in Kamloops last year, I mean, he was right. He was right front and
Absolutely.
center. They didn't wind up
Absolutely.
winning, but
Yeah.
I think about that because I remember watching the Moose Jaw Warriors when I was a kid and living in Saskatchewan. There's talking about Don Hay, the Kamloops Blazers. Um, I was only in Kamloops for like 24 hours when we were on vacation, but I love it too. I mean. Yeah, lots to explore there.
Yeah.
What type of influence was Don Hay in your life?
Unbelievable. I mean, he's just that guy that taught what teamwork and teammates really were. Him included. Like you just do anything for your teammate type of deal. Do anything for your for the team. You've always put the team forward. All those little cliches are things that that were brought up or learned throughout the day. The signs and the like bring your the lunchbox brigade that was our like we work harder than every team. If you work harder than every team, it doesn't matter who's in the lineup, we can beat them. Give us a chance. There was always he never swore. It was really cool. For a junior coach dealing with 20-year-olds down, he had too much respect for the parents and for the kids that were, a little younger, the 16, 17-year-old guys. But
Right.
just he never swore. If he ever did, ooh, like you knew the heat was coming. We had old Terry Bangin and Eddie Shack. Those two. Shacker swore enough for both of them, so it was all right. Morris swore at me. He was the D coach, so
Yeah,
Shacker was
yeah.
pretty cool. Ed Dempsey, he was a good dude, man. But he had a great coaching staff. Our general manager Bob Brown was incredible, very stern, right in your face, telling you what was black, what was white. There was no gray with him. If you weren't playing good, he let you know. The rules were in place. No matter what, there was no skirting it. There was no letting anybody off easy. For a typical example, we had one of our tough line was Chris Murray, Mike Josephson, and Bob Westerby. Absolutely, like three serial killers. Every building we went into, these guys just killed guys and wanted to do it. Like they were hunting guys,
Yeah.
and they all played on the same line. So it was scary, dude. We loved it when these guys started games. But Bobby was hurt. I think it was my second year there, I think it was, when we were hosting the Cup in '95, and something happened where he was hurt. We were on the road. He stayed behind, and he may or may not have been at a local pub after hours. And then as he was driving home, there was a car accident on the side of the road, and the car actually burst into flame. He pulls over on the side of the road, goes in, pulls this girl out of the car, saves her life because her seatbelt was stuck. So I don't know how he caught it down, but he gets her out of the car, takes off, and he's like, "Don't tell anybody." Like, can't tell anybody, man. I'm like, I'm out after curfew. You guys got to keep this on the DL. So we are on the road. We find out about this on the road. So we're just like, well, that's Westy. Westerby, like that's him. Like if there's somebody hurt, he's going to be the first guy in there to help you. And so we get back into town. We have a big team meeting. Everybody's in the room because it's in the papers. And what's going to happen? And guys have been sent home for this in the past, where they go home, for breaking curfews. I mean, this is not a light little offense. So we're having a team meeting, and they come in, they tell everybody what's going on, and they said, so he ain't going anywhere, but the fine stands. It was like, if you're out after curfew, I think it was like half your paycheck or some kind of deal like this. So back then, $200 is a lot of money. So for us, that's our tank of gas, a couple cans of chew, and a couple cases of beer. That's about all you get. Maybe a trip to McDonald's or two, but that was it. So taking that money away. But what was cool was the city rallied behind it, got a hat out in front of the rink, got a couple bucks, and paid the fine for him. So there was one. Westy never got to go home. He got to stay, win, and then we won the Memorial Cup that year. And the long story short is Bob Westerby is now a fireman. How cool is that?
That's nuts.
Isn't that awesome? Him
That
and
is.
Chris Murray, so they must have had a good conversation. And but the influence was there. And then if you drive it all the way up the chain, Don Hay, ex-fireman.
Wow.
Right. So
Yeah.
like, and then if you take integrity and you take all those things, who are the most trusted people on the planet? Guys that run towards the fire. So that's Don Hay, that's Bob Westerby, that's Mike Josephson, that's Chris Murray. And honestly, that was our team. That was the Kamloops Blazers. I should actually go and change my hat, put a Blazers hat on. But
Oh,
yeah, but that was it, man. I love Kamloops. Those were the best days of my life. If I could
mm,
go back in a time machine, people have asked me that question a lot on these podcasts, and it always returns to that. I go back to Kamloops in a minute.
yeah. Yeah. It's, you know what? I appreciate that because it's never a bad thing to forget your roots, no matter what, right? So that's big because that's where it all stems from. I have
Yeah.
found, whether that's
Oh,
in sport or
oh, absolutely.
whether it's in you're playing in a band or
Yeah.
what have you. So
We can
so
do a whole
that
podcast on Kamloops. I mean, really,
yeah.
the growth and leadership and maturity that happened over those years was just absolutely incredible. And it's not, and I give a lot of credit to Bob, and I give a lot of credit to the coaches and all those people, but the players too. We held each other accountable. A guy like Jerome McGimma, Doan, you knew those guys were going to the top future Hall of Famers way back then. Challenged you all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like if something wasn't working or something was happening in the game, take you aside as a peer and just be like, hey man, like let's I know you're struggling with this a little bit. Like, why don't we work on this? So just the way we pushed each other and held each other accountable, and then you see how many guys wound up going to the NHL out of that team is I mean, it comes down from the leadership down, but you got to give a lot of credit to the players themselves as well that took on that fight, because there's a lot of guys that couldn't take it either. There was some guys that came to that camp and they didn't last very long.
Yeah, so yeah, kind of that standard, right? In the NFL, it's kind of that Patriots way. We even saw on Saturday night with the Leafs. I mean, Nylander is basically telling the guy not to be a baby. I'll abbreviate it,
Right.
but just like,
Yeah.
okay, so if you're doing that on the bench, what are you doing behind closed doors? You know, it's just it's kind of it's kind of no accident the Leafs are down 3-1, but that's another topic.
Yeah. I'm not a Leafs fan, so you can bash on them all you
Yeah,
want, or you
yeah,
can love them all you want. I'm not a big Leafs fan. Let's just put it that
yeah. It's all good. I'm still not over the misread on Gilmore, but we'll go from there. So Tampa Bay, 2004, I went through that roster, familiarized myself with that, like St. Louis, Corey Sarich, Javi Bulin, Frederick Modine, St. Louis, Chris Digman, former Wee King, and that playoff run. So even before the finals, you play Philadelphia in a 7-game series. I was kind of sketchy on the details, but I looked it up. You guys won in 7, but like just an incredible run by you guys. I mean, that was quite something. You got Tortorella there, the firecracker behind the bench, and
Ringmaster, whatever you want to call him.
yeah, I mean,
He's awesome.
right. He has a great relationship with Larry Brooks from the New York Post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They vacation together at least once a week in the summer,
That's
probably.
right. I'm telling you, Brooks, you get out of here.
Yeah.
So you just kind of talk about that team, this kind of that special bond, or the parallels between Kamloops and with that Tampa Bay team, similarities, differences, and that game 6 in Calgary. I mean, yeah, just kind of expand on all that.
I like hanging out with the guys in Tampa now, especially more almost than when we were playing. I mean, we love playing together, and don't get me wrong, but nowadays hearing the stories, because you're like back then, it's just going. You're like this all the time. Everything's just got, and you're winning. And the way Torts was kind of pushing the team, and we're trying to sell the game in Florida still. So Feaster has us out and doing the humanitarian side of things. So that's how it was ran. I like the very beginning meeting, John Tortorella get traded on our wedding day, picks up the phone. Hey, dude, I heard it's your wedding day. Yeah, well, enjoy that. You're going on a honeymoon. Yeah, enjoy that. And then, so I'm going to give you like 2 to 3 weeks off, and then start getting in shape. Okay, because I'm going to push you. I'm going to push you like you've never been pushed before. I'll never forget that call. I got goosebumps.
Wow.
It was like at 7 a.m. too on my wedding day. And I'm like, okay, well, appreciate it. Never even heard of the guy before. That was the thing. Never even heard of this guy. You
Wow.
know, so I come into Tampa and first thing, like Vinny and those guys are like, oh boy, are you guys ready for this? Like, oh man, I'm like, what is it? This guy's he's intense, man. He's like military. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I've had Hazer before. You know, Hazer is pretty tough. Hitch was pretty tough. And they're like, oh, really? Oh, cool. Those are two winning coaches. So maybe that's what it takes to. Oh, so we have that conversation. We come in and I remember sitting down and they go through everyone. This is the trainer. This is the PR guy. This is Jay. This is that. So Jay's kind of going through. I'm the general manager, and he takes his hand and he goes, everything inside the rink, go to Torts. Everything outside of the rink, come to me. And then he kind of keeps going, does his thing. Then Torts. So I'll let the head coach, John Tortorella, get up here and have a conversation. Stands up. John Tortorella, head coach. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm your coach. And sat down. That's it. I was like, this is new. This is going to be interesting, man. And it was every day. He got in everybody's face. He pushed every single guy. And it was amazing right from the beginning. And what it was mentally tough. It was like a SEALs training. You've all seen Camp Tortorella. You do the first day, you do the weight, you're in the gym, you got to do all the strength training stuff. And then that night you got to do the 3-mile run. You have to have it done by 21 minutes or you got to do it again until you do the 21 minutes. Then he's got the on ice testing that absolutely murders you. Then he has these small teams that you're playing full ice on. So it's all just bagging you. You're dead, exhausted, can't hardly move at the end. And all he's waiting for is people to complain. So, and you'd watch the training camp just get smaller. Like day one, the camp, boom, guys sent home. What happened? And Torres is like, like Vinny and Richie and those guys, he complained. He complained? Yeah, he said he was too sore. Oh, don't say anything. So immediately it was like, oh, because I've been complaining pretty good in the back room for about an hour. I'll just shut up right now. So right there, it was like teammates looking out for one another, you know, just get through this. You'll be fine. We wound up carrying, I believe it like 20 players pretty much predominantly for the rest of the season. We didn't carry 21. We didn't carry 22. We didn't carry 23. Actually, no, we did. We carried 21. We had Darren Rumble. Darren Rumble played defense, but also played forward. So if anybody got hurt, we had the Rumbler. Rumble could go in. He could play both positions. He was our extra guy. So there wasn't this up and down new guy coming in. There was no distractions. He really wanted to keep this room really tight. He really wanted to keep it tight knit. That was really what we started focusing and seeing on. And then the thing that kind of gets lost, it happens a lot now, and people bag on Torts all the time, and it pisses me right off, is Torts pushes every guy. He told me on the phone he was going to do it. And he got in my face and he did it. And you know what he wound up doing that year is that inadvertently we noticed throughout the year is he kind of picked a battle with every guy. He fought with Vinny that year. Oh, Vinny's going to get traded. He's going to Toronto. That was the talk. Remember that? Marty St. Louis got benched. Oh, he's out of here. He's going to be done. He's going to ask for Kubina. Oh, this is a big fight. That was all the media doing that. When we would talk, we knew why we was doing it. Why? Because I had a bad night and I deserve to sit.
Right.
Because we have a capable player in Rumbler that wants to, he's hungry and he's not, and if he gets in the lineup, he's going to do everything he can not to screw up. So that kind of forced us to kind of really be like, ooh, man, like you got to hold ourselves accountable here. So he gets in the face of me. Why wouldn't he get in the face of Vinny Lecavalier? Why? Because he makes too much money. That's the mentality of today. Yeah. Not with Torts. Torts isn't that way. Torts is a man-to-man. This is what I ask you to do. This is what you say you can do. Live up to your end of the deal. I'll live up to my end of the deal, and we won't have any problems. That's why you love Torts. Torts is right back to how it was in Kamloops. This is black. This is white. There's no in between with him.
Yeah. So there seems to have been a healthy respect because when
huge respect
because when he ripped PLD there in the bubble. You know, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yep.
I knew what he was doing. You even knew more what he was doing because
I
you
loved it.
played with him, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So guys like me though, or guys that have been through it, they're like, oh, I want to see how the player reacts. That's me. I'm like, oh man, can't wait for the next game to see what happens. So
Right.
to me, that's exciting. Tampa fans, they were excited to see what was going to happen next. Oh, they just set out Kubina. Oh, we got to get tickets to the next game because he's going to come out crazy. He's going to kill somebody. He's going to get the Gordie Howe hat trick. Like it just that's just the mentality of Torts. And he's perfect in Philly. I was so a Flyers fan this year, hoping that they were going to get in because all he's got to do is get in. He's such a good coach. And when he starts manipulating things, they had a little bit of a dry spell there. So it's unfortunate that happened. But
Right.
Torts is amazing. He's had a really successful season, in my opinion, of kind of doing what he just did. He weeded out a couple guys that had some mouthpieces, a couple guys that show up to get a paycheck and don't back check, those type of guys. Well, get him out of here. He's got time to do it now. He's going to recorrect. He'll correct this. It kind of reminds me of Tampa a little bit here. Came in,
Yep.
had a season, saw what he needed to change, kept his ghost roster, found a couple guys from some teams that were kind of, I know they got they can play, but they've never been really given an opportunity. Guys like Brad Lukowich, Dan Boyle, Corey Sarich, Chris Dingman, Marty St. Louis was a write-off in Calgary. Like
Yes,
he's like Dan Boyle, write-off in Florida. Yeah. Like that Luco out of Dallas. These are all guys that had, and what did he do? He went out and found guys that had a point to prove.
Yeah, like
Little chip on our shoulder.
Right.
Freddie Modine, Toronto. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But look at that team. What were they? They were all guys that wanted to prove people wrong. That's it. Silence the doubters. It was an awesome feeling every time you came in that room. And that's why going back to the beginning is now when we talk and we just had a reunion about a month ago in Tampa. Those are the conversations. Man, I've never asked you, like, where did you play junior? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that. Like, how was that? And you start going through their conversation. Well, how the hell did you wind up in Tampa? And then you hear guys' stories. Andre Waugh, Habib Boulin. There's another one, John Graham out of Boston. Like all these guys, honestly, we're misfits, man. We were like these rejects of guys. And Torts found a way to bring us all together, push us to hate him so we'd love one another. And that love for the game just came out on the ice, and nothing would. We were like, just let's prove Torts wrong now. Let's prove them wrong. Let's prove them wrong. And he did what he did to push us over the limit, man. And I wish I could play again for him, or just be in the same room with him. Like it's awesome to be around the guy. He was there. He's wearing his little Flyers shirt there in the picture too. Y'all gave that was a fine. He owes us money for that one. He wear a fine in a freaking Tampa Bay Lightning reunion. It's terrible. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Because you guys beat him in 7 games there to go to the Cup final. And yeah, so what probably makes you a bit upset and like is kind of that narrative has changed now that today's player you can't, and you alluded to this here.
Yep.
Yeah, Torts is too hard. These guys, you gotta be kind of walking pins and needles around them, right? Like with the Jets, since they're in my backyard, I know there's more in that team. And
right.
I'm not saying that bonus isn't. I'm not at practice, but it's just okay. Well, we don't want to get in. Like Ehlers should be in the press box, but
yeah,
he makes too much money. Like I'll just say it.
Nailed it. No, you nailed it. There's a lot of that going on. It really does filter down into the kids now. These kids, these are their idols they're watching, and when these guys are acting that way and they're acting entitled just because they're on a first line, it really does go right down into youth hockey. So you want to. I'm coaching now. I'm having a blast at it. I absolutely love it. Coached 16U last year. Doing 14U AA this year. It's going to be an incredible year again. And I absolutely love it. But talking to kids and trying to hold them accountable, how we were held accountable when we were the same age, is like it's like new.
Yeah.
It's what the new part is? You got to talk to mom and dad all the time. All the time. They're managers, they're agents, they're wherever the hell they are. That's kind of how they act now. So you have a kid sneak out, miss curfew. The next day, you want to hold the kid accountable, but you're like, I'm the bad guy, like,
Right.
because I didn't check his room or something like that at 1 a.m. Things like that. So that's the new world that we kind of live in. And when you going back up to this side of it, guys make too much money. How are you going to put $10 million in the press box? Then they go after the coach. Well, the coach, that's what the coach used. That's what they did in the old days.
Right.
That's how they caught your attention. Oh, that'll catch his attention. Well, that's what they did, but they're not allowed to do it anymore.
No, no, exactly. That's all kind of changed, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then even there was a junior team in Manitoba where they got back from a game and, rumor had it that the coach bag skated them. All right. They said, get your equipment on, we're bag skated. And this is like, oh, this is like, wow, right? Like when I lived in
And that's
Carenport,
news.
right. And when I lived in Carenport, that happened and that was okay. And that was in the mid-90s. And that was okay to do, right? There needs to be some sort of accountability.
Grand Forks, British Columbia, the Grand Forks border Bruins, they were called. Same thing. The guy stopped the bus on the side of the road and made him run a mile into town. Stopped a mile before the rink, 2:00 in the morning. All right, boys, you guys got a lot of energy. We lost that game, but you're out partying on the bus all the way home from Cranbrook. Get off. You guys, we'll meet you at the rink. Get them off. They had to run to the last guy unpacks the bus.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
That was a story. That was back in the 90s. Those are great stories.
Yeah.
Those are great stories. Those are great life experiences, man. People frown upon it. That guy should be in jail. Well, the overreaction and over drama world that we live in right now is just makes me yetch. That's a good word. Yeah.
Well, it's cancel culture.
It is. Oh, totally, man. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it.
Yeah. So you also were coached by Larry Robinson, played with Alexei Yashin, was coached by Mark Crawford, Elaine Vigneault.
Pretty good coaches, huh?
Pretty good coaches. Elaine Vigneault.
Imagine if I ever got a chance to coach and give that back to people.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
And honestly, that was my dream when I retired. I wanted to be a coach. I thought I was going to be somewhere else when I retired, and it just never came to fruition. So it's kind of taken the long way around, and now being kind of just out of the picture now, and really just trying to bang on a cement wall that's 50 feet thick to try to get your name in anywhere is pretty much impossible. You'd think you'd have an opportunity, but you don't. So, these doors get locked and it's been tough, but it'd be really cool. I like the new coaches that come in. I think they bring a lot of new fresh blood. Like we started, they kind of relate to these players a little bit more. And guys that were coached by good coaches. There's some guys that were coached by some bad coaches that get the exact result that other coach got. Well, if you use that same formula, pretty good guys that were coached by good coaches generally wind up being good coaches.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, that's the deal. I always tell guys I'm a good coach because I wasn't a very good player. I sat on the bench the whole time, and I got to listen to Hitch bitch out all these guys all the time. And then I went over to Tampa. Oh, I only played like 12 minutes a game, so 48 of the other minutes I was sitting and listening to Torts teach the game. And then where do you go after that? We won't talk about the Islanders adventure. Then we go back to Tampa. Pretty decent, but interesting situation. When I went back to Tampa, go to San Jose. Todd McClellan, great coach.
Yeah,
super coach, great guy. Learn from him. Crawford, Dallas, Vigneault, Vancouver. That's the year we went to the Cup that year. So all these guys. And you know what the coolest part about is? I don't want to give off too of my coaching things because Seattle's looking for a coach and maybe they'll call me. They are looking for a coach, but I don't think they're going to be calling me.
Well, that was a weird coaching hire to begin with, but
it was. No, but really what I found playing the biggest kind of goosebump moments happen is when those winning coaches start saying the same things. And watch out for these pitfalls as well. They all know. They know what to look for. So when you kind of get on, like as a player, you get traded to a team, you got bring in at the end to go to a team, and you start. So hey, you got experience. You won a couple cups in Kamloops. You got a couple. You got one in Dallas. Got one in Tampa. What do you think our team needs to do? Two things happen. They either listen to you, they're cool with it, they make the change, and everything's cool.
Right.
Or you wind up on the pine. They kind of push you to the side because they didn't want to hear that. Because someone else already told them that.
Right.
And they disagreed with that person. Now, if they go that route, you look bad. So there's a double-edged sword there. I think it happened to a couple. I'm not the only guy that it's happened to. I can. There's some situations that happened in Vancouver that year with a veteran player. That's exactly what happened. A couple of veteran players, guys that were playing for other teams that won some cups that they had brought in. Well, they spoke up in that room. They said their thing. They got their piece across, and some of it was taken with a thumbs up, and some of it was get that guy out of here. So it's an interesting dynamic, coaching and being one of the guys that are a little bit more vocal in the room.
Right.
Because sometimes your captains will say stuff in the dressing room, but they don't go in there. They won't do the battle with the big guy.
Right.
So sometimes, it takes a guy that's just sitting there that is maybe riding the bike when everybody's gone home. And then because that's when the coaches really engage with you a lot and you have a lot of conversation, is if you're hurt, you're a scratch, game day, everybody goes home. You stay at the rink for a couple extra hours just to show them, hey, I'm putting in some time here too. I want to get back in that lineup. So then, and generally they'll have their workout 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. You're in there around that time. Maybe they jump on the bike beside you and you have those conversations with guys. Torts was one. I would say Torts is probably the best at listening than any coach I've ever had. Incredible guy.
That doesn't surprise me. Is it true that he is like when he gave the speech there at the NHL or NHL Awards, he just seemed like very down to earth. I'm like, this is not who I see behind the bench. And then doesn't he love horses as well?
Loves animals, does a lot of things for dogs. He's got like a dog shelter rescue thing that he does. There is two Torts. Like Torts, here's a good one. So we come in and he's yelling. He comes in the room and really he's like, my door is always open, fellas. My door is always open. So I'm like, all right. And the crazy thing was in the dressing room in Tampa. So it's a square, but in the back corner above like the stalls in the back, there was this little cutout hole. Well, you know what was on the other side of that hole? Torts' office. You could hear everything we were saying. He knew everything. And he would tell us, like, oh, yeah. Afterwards, he's like, oh, yeah, I stand right there. I can hear everything. It comes right through there just fine. I can hear everything you guys are saying. And guys would bag on him a little bit. Not too bad.
Right.
A lot of guys really actually would stick up for him. But he got in my face one time and I answered a question wrong. He asked me what I was doing. Like, there was like two guys in front of the net. I went to this guy, they passed to that guy, and they scored. And he said something to me, and I turned around and I said, sorry, I guess I got the wrong guy. And he just lit it. Then he starts giving it to me. And he got like nose to nose with me. He goes, told once said you'd play in Alaska. Well, I know people in Alaska. I'm like, oh, geez. So he gets up and he runs out of the room right after that. And I'm like kind of looking around the room. The guys are like, oh, boy, like, Luke was out of here. So I get up. I'm like, what the hell just happened? So I go in there. He goes to shut the door behind him. And I'm like, boom. And he goes, not now. And I go, you said your door is always open. And he turned around and he goes, correct. Come on in. Have a seat. This is between periods. So he's sitting at his desk. And I'm just like, dude, what was that? And he goes, all right, now let's just talk about this. You just did that in there, and then this is this. Like, so it was pretty incredible. So that meeting, that little interaction right there really made me understand Torts.
Mm-hmm.
There is this guy that there's this like big character that's very in your face, but then there's this caring, understandable guy that's inside there that is willing to sit and listen. And that's what he was, man. He really was just a super, super dude.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing those stories. It's great.
No worries, man. No worries.
You say you're coaching hockey.
Yeah,
Read a bit about that on internet's great for things there.
yeah, yeah.
When did you kind of start doing that, and what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? Hockey is fairly popular in Texas, I do believe, right? So again, we're waiting for Houston to get an NHL franchise, but with Dallas winning the cups and that sort of thing. It's not just football, so it is hockey. So how does that look day to day operations, and you kind of see that in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I have one more. I have a 21-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old daughter. One's got one more year. I wanted to be home for them
Hmm.
while they were home.
Yep.
So when I retired, so basically when I went back to Texas, I was kind of like a player coach. It was kind of like the extra guy that would come in the room. I was an older dude. I was closer in age to Glenn Gullitson than I was to any of the next guy on the team. So kind of hung out with Gully, Paul Gerard, super incredible guy. That to at the end of my career to be able to meet and learn from, just share stories with. That was just such a close knit little group. That team the first year went to the American Hockey League final. Um, that was kind of the eye in the sky guy for that. That's kind of what got me excited to learning. That's where it started. Where that's what got me like maybe this coaching thing could be in a couple of years, and just kind of be that guy that goes right out of hockey into coaching. So then the following year was a little bit more of that, and then I got a little bit more responsibility. They give me like 5 guys. Like here's 5 guys we really want you to work with, and kind of get down with like Brendan Dillon, Winnipeg Jet. There's one there. Luke Gazdick was another one. Matt Frazier, Phil Larson. Those are generally the guys. Jack Campbell actually lived with me when he first moved down. He
Oh,
lived in a
wow.
he stayed in our extra guest room upstairs. So I was there for 3 years, kind of like and we were on a 5-year plan, but at the end of the year 3, the team got sold.
Shoot.
So yeah, and I was kind of in the mix of that coaching staff of hopefully going up the next year. And it just never came to fruition. I never even got that conversation at the end of the year. They just basically, that was it. And I was on crutches. I had no idea what to do. So I went back to Canada and got into doing the certification because I had read articles and heard people already complaining about how these players that retire that think they know everything about hockey and don't have to go through certifications and yada yada yada. Well, so I was like, I don't want to be that guy. So I went back to Canada, started doing the certifications, made some phone calls, and I got all the way up. I got my level 5 with the help of Hockey Canada. They were awesome. So I was there for about 3-4 years. Did some coaching the Western Hockey League, coached AAA midget in Lethbridge with Doug Paisley, awesome dude. So glad he gave me a second chance because my time in Lethbridge wasn't very productive or very positive for the first 4 months with the Western Hockey League. Our Hurricane team we had a tough go. And then there was some miscommunications that really kind of blew it for me. There was such a great opportunity, and then I went from being this highly touted guy that people were trying to get to be an assistant coach to nothing. I was just sitting on this curb, and then slowly made my way back down here. My mom passed away about 6 years ago. She had ALS, and it was kind of the driving force for me. I gotta do something here. So I tried to come back to Dallas and get involved down here, and it really wasn't any openings. So I worked for the rinks, like the youth hockey.
Yeah.
Got in with the Stars organization. Started doing some stuff at their rinks. They own all the rinks here, so I did the hockey management for some programs here. And then there's a rule you can't coach. You can't coach travel hockey. And I was like, well, that's my dream. That's what I'm good at. And I'm losing out on it. And I'm losing in touch and relatability with the players now. So I need to get back into it. So I got out, I went through the USA hockey now. So I got my level 5 Canada hockey and I got my level 4 USA hockey coaching thing. Went through the certifications down here. And then, so now I got into coaching. I finally got that opportunity. Last year with the Texas Tigers out of Farmers Branch down here in Dallas. Um, had a phenomenal year. I love the kids. It was a challenge right from the get go. We have we have an interesting situation down here of a lot of kids go kind of like they are in Canada now, going to the prep teams, going out to the new OHA. Like that CSSHL is so awesome, man. It really is. I wish that was a North American thing that really should grow. I hope other people are looking at what they're doing in the CSSHL, and there's other organizations, other people, hockey lovers that can do that. So that give more opportunity to these kids and develop the game. We can get more kids on the ice, more high-end kids that wind up stuck in between AAA, AA, and single A. They get cut from AAA, but the AA team isn't really a fit for them. But they got to play AAA according to somebody, so they go to these other spots. So other organizations and stuff, I love that the CSSHL is doing what they're doing, providing more opportunities for these kids to get more ice time and get out there to play.
Nice.
That's just really that's where I'm at right now. And then had a really good year. I think we came third. We came in third this year. We had a bad playoff. Typical. We have a great season that we got in there, and little overexcited a couple of times, and we just couldn't bury the puck. It was kind of our problem all year. We outshoot teams but couldn't put puck in the net. So got a defenseman coaching you, so I guess you got to tell them to stop shooting at their chest. I can hit a chest like no one else. But yeah, no, fantastic year. It's been great. I'm excited to get back with this group. This 14U AA team was very successful last season. I think it's going to be a different season this year because last year I had a lot more underdeveloped guys that were coming into the organization from other organizations. This one, these kids have been together for a while. So, and I got a really good assistant coach with me, Aaron Davis, ex-player, another guy that's incredible, Zach Klempel, ex-military guy that really understands the game and has a huge passion and love for the development of the players. So I think we're gonna have a fantastic year this year, unless Seattle calls me.
That's right.
Seattle might call. We got to send this to Seattle.
Do you have
anybody else out there looking for a coach, junior level? I got one more year. I got to stay here for one more year. Let's see how this 14U AA year goes. Maybe win nationals or something like that. Might be put me on the radar a little bit better. But that'd probably be a little easier to have a championship under your belt before you throw the resumes out to these clubs. But I want to get back into it. I want to get to the top again. Once you win, it's an addiction. It's something that you miss, and it messes with you mentally because you watch these games. You're like, if they would just do this, they'd be unstoppable. And they just blow, and it doesn't happen, and you get the same result every single year, and you're like, man, and then this coach gets fired, he goes over to this team, and then this team does exactly what this team just did for 8 years. So the recyclability, I'd like to see some new fresh blood out there, and if I could be one of them, it'd be awesome.
Well, we see that all the time in the NFL, right? We see all
correct.
And it drives me batty. We all know Steve Smith was a coordinator and not a head coach, and he's fine in Kansas City. He was never good in St. Louis. Period.
Right.
End of story. So, do you have Ron Francis in your contacts, Brett?
No, I don't. Sorry. Maybe I can get him on Instagram or something. No, I never played with Ron Francis, man. I got ton of respect for the guy. He's an incredible hockey player, man. I played against him, obviously, and just playing against him, I'm still a fan of the game. That's the thing. I love the game of hockey. I really am a big fan. I'm up every night watching the games now. So this is the only time I really watch is playoffs. I can't really. I'm too busy during the season right now with my own guys, but I watch a little bit. But during the playoffs, this is the time because this is our character that really comes out from the players.
Yeah,
you play.
I hear the story all the time. Well, I watch the playoffs now because the guys are actually trying. I've heard that from a few people that I know. It's like, well, they're not trying, but you can see the level of intensity, right? That's just raised up to that next level, which is huge. Do you think the Dallas Stars have a chance of beating Vegas? No.
Well, I think they do now. I mean, those first 2 games were very interesting at home. Maybe the road is good for the Dallas Stars, then maybe Vegas pumped them up a little bit. I don't know if you've been to a game in Vegas. It is. Have you ever been to Vegas?
I have, and we should have gone.
Now just remember. Now just think.
Yeah.
hockey in Vegas. So everything in Vegas is Vegas.
Yeah.
Now imagine hockey in Vegas. Like in the International Hockey League, I played in the IHL, the Las Vegas Thunder. They did an incredible job.
Yeah.
So their practice rink is a phenomenal building. They've done
Mhm.
such a good job there. Their youth hockey is really going like this. They have tournament after tournament in Vegas. The rink is insane, beautiful. It's fired up. You can hear the music louder than the guy speaking on the when you're watching it on TV. So it's just it's pretty wild, pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's yeah, we were there 5 years ago, and the Wild were playing the Knights, and our we had debated maybe staying for that game. Wife's first cousin played on Minnesota at the time. It's like, and I regret not going. And I've
Yeah,
heard people that have gone, and yeah, everything is over the top, right? They're going to get the
right,
Athletics. They got the Raiders. They just hosted the
right,
Super Bowl. The
right.
Super Bowl is going to be on regular rotation in Vegas, and yeah,
Yeah,
everything is bigger and better, as you say there. Uh,
yeah. Well, we're Texas, so we're bigger. I know
right,
everything's
yeah,
bigger in Texas.
right.
but
Jerry's world, right?
but the play, yeah. Well, and that's kind of the thing is, so the Stars, it's an old rink now. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not to me. When I was in Reunion Arena, I was on that team that went from a Reunion to the new building. It was so exciting, the new lights and the new jumbotron and all that. Well, it's so old now. It's in one of the older buildings in the league. Pittsburgh's got a new building. Vegas has got that new building, and so with that comes the production, the show, the lights. So I'm one of those guys that gets fired up before a game. I mean, I'm a pretty excitable dude. Obviously you can see it. But before a game, I mean, I'm banging my head. I kill switch engaged to turned up to 11, Seven Dust. All those bands are just in my head. Amity Affliction. Walking out those doors, when you go out that ice, you're full sweat, drenched, and ready to just take on, go to battle. That's the atmosphere that you're used to. Some rinks have it, some rinks don't.
right.
Vegas has it. The Stars responded to what Vegas has. So if I'm the Dallas Stars right now, I'm bringing back Metallica, Pantera, the Motley Crues. Let's do it GNR old school style. Let's get this place fired up. Let's get these people fired up. There's games I've been to Stars playoffs games where they didn't sit down for the whole game. Let's get that going again. You
Yeah,
want to you want to get these players fired up. You get the Dallas Stars fired up. The Dallas Stars will be the hardest team to beat in the playoffs. You can get them fired up. I'm telling you that right now because you saw it. The last two games, they're good. They're really good.
yeah, totally. And I chuckle here a bit. I was at watching the Pistons in Winkler, and they got the air horns. They allow air horns. They're just giving her. And I thought I was at a football game. They're introducing their starting lineup. These guys are just kids. I felt like I was one at a time. Lights. I think there was some smog. I'm like, okay, this crowd is fired. I mean, they hadn't won the championship since 1998. I had talked to a guy who said, "Oh, I was 10 years old the last time they had won," and right, and it's just all that plays into it, and there has to be that playing to that home ice. So yeah, bring it all back.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Have you ever been to a game in Montreal?
I have not.
Oh, dude, punch you in the head, man. You're that close. You got to go. Montreal. Oh, they put on a show. Their Leafs fans are going to be even more pissed at me. Montreal puts on a show. Vancouver puts on a hell of a show.
Yeah.
I never got to play in the new Edmonton Arena, but Northlands was kind of quiet. Calgary is like the quietest rink in the league.
Mhm.
It's just I don't think it's because of the way it's built. The sound gets trapped up in the saddle.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. It's got a weird sound. Like we're down on the ice, you can't. It's quiet as can be. It's so quiet down there. And then you've got moving across the country, Ottawa. It's over there somewhere. Toronto. Everybody's in their suites on the bottom till the end of the first period.
Drives
Then you
me.
go to Montreal. Oh, then you go to Montreal, and it's at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like they're outside your hotel.
Right.
You walk in, same atmosphere. They got the techno rock in, heavy metal in the background, mashing the tunes together. That kid comes out with the flag and rips around. Boom! And the ripple of the fire on the ice. Oh my gosh. Put me in the lineup right now. Like, come on.
Well, what you're describing to me is when I was at Arrowhead in October for Chargers and Chiefs. I mean, fireworks are
Yeah,
going off in the middle of the
yeah,
day. The players are coming out for the warm-ups, and
yeah,
tailgates packed at 10:30 in the morning.
yeah,
People are giving you
yeah,
food. You have no idea who they are. You would never accept it
yeah,
otherwise. Uh,
yeah,
and yeah, just this crazy atmosphere, and that's
yeah.
what sport is, and it is entertainment.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
and it
Well,
has.
look at Tampa. Look at Tampa.
Yeah, I was at a game in Tampa a year ago.
Pretty cool, huh?
Well, yeah, we did the tour where the Bucks play, and then brother-in-law
Okay.
were like, "Okay, let's go to the game." Right? It's
Yeah.
holidays. I couldn't believe it. I just
Yeah. Did you go to Thunder Alley there in the out front there, where the Thunder Alley? Did you get to experience that? But because they start the same thing, they do a tailgate and they put up a big clock of when the doors open. But they're there at like 4 or 5 o'clock. The player, you can see the players are walking through. They have them come through and they walk into the building through the front. You're standing out there. I was out there 6 weeks ago. I was on a hockey tournament and same thing. Turn around. Oh, look, there's Phil Esposito. Oh, look, there's Dave Anderchuk. Look, there's Freddie Modine, Brian Bradley, John Tucker, Brad Lukowich, who's just in town. That's Thunder Alley. All these alumni guys just walking around, huge crowds around them, signing autographs, just getting the guys fired up. It's family. Those families that play together, stay together, and win together. And that's what Tampa's built. If you want the model NHL franchise, the Tampa Bay Lightning, it really is.
yeah, and yeah, there was always this criticism. Okay, well, Bettman, he wants to expand down south. This isn't gonna fly. But the more you kind of live life and kind of experience it, you know what? I think some Canadian markets could learn from some of those U.S. markets.
Yeah,
I said it. Yeah.
it's hard to play in Canada though, bro. Man, I played in Vancouver, and it's a whole other animal. The way I put it, it would be the same as if a football player or like a Kobe or someone like that, or LeBron, is playing in LA and playing in Florida, in the Miamis and that. I'm a nobody, still to this day, a nobody player compared to these guys. And I was walking up the street. Who was I with? I was with Ripper and O'Brien, and we were heading to the Roxy after a game. And we're just walking up the road, and this car pulls right over, and there's all 5 people jumped out. And this is right on the side of the road. Stop traffic, jump out, get their cameras out, start taking pictures with us, jump back in their cars, and gone. Nobody honked. Nobody got mad. All it did is just create a little parade of slow cars going by. I lived in
Wow.
I lived off of Burrard. I forget the name of the hotel now. The Sutton Place there. And it's kind of like an apartment. I was there while the Twilight was being filmed. So they were all, Ray Liotta was my next door neighbor, actually. It was pretty cool. And they would, and all these fans would be out there, right? So I'd come out. I had a little, there's like an apartment hotel, the Sutton. And I'd be sitting out on my deck because they had Japa Dog right below me. It smelled incredible. So you'd go out there and just order the Japa Dogs, and they'd bring them up to your room. And these guys would be out there like autograph seekers. I thought they were there for the Twilight people. So
Right.
I'm just like staring at them and kind of like looking at them because they're out there. There's what 20, 30 of them. And I'd go down, get my little Japa Dog thing, or go across the street to Moxie's or something. And they just, harem would follow you around downtown. And I'm like, what are these, like me? So imagine being like Mitch Marner in Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine that? Being that Austin Matthews? Like, you can't leave your house, dude.
Right.
I've talked to some ex players that played in Montreal, and he's like, dude, I can't go to dinner. I went out to dinner with a guy in Montreal. I played with him in Jersey. He wound up in Montreal. We went out to dinner, and we went to the really nice, in old Montreal there. Forget the name of the place. Concussions. And they took us through the kitchen.
Yeah.
They took us downstairs, and I'm walking up, and I look over, and they had like a changing, those folding changing stand things.
Yeah.
They had those like up in the corner, and I'm like, go around the corner. And he's like, oh, I'm like, what? He goes, dude, you just got your picture taken by about 40 reporters. I'm like, what? He goes, oh yeah, dude. They go out, and it's page 6 in Montreal. It's called page 6 or something like that. And it's the Montreal Gazette. And he goes, they're gonna bitch that I'm out to dinner with you tonight. So I'm gonna run you tomorrow. I'm like, oh, good, do it. Fine, you're not very big. but that's how it was, man. He's like, it's so hard that the fans are in your face all the time. So really, it's a tough place to play.
Hmm.
So, they put that extra pressure on the players. When's the last time a Canadian team won a cup?
93, the Habs.
So, so maybe let's start supporting these guys, leave them alone a little bit, let them live a private life, let them grow as a family, go out once in a while as a group and be able to be in. When I played in Dallas, we didn't practice at 10 o'clock, but we didn't get home till midnight because we were always together. Why do you
Right.
think we won? Because
Yeah.
we could walk around town. We could go into restaurants. We could go into places. No one would bother us. We could yuck it up, maybe swear and tell an inappropriate joke and not get yelled at and be in the news the next day. And it was camaraderie. It brought us together. And that's what winning is all about, is
Right.
teamwork and family. And if you can have that culture in your organization from top to bottom, that's the Tampas. That's the teams that win for a while. The Islanders back in the day, they were all family. Like you hear those stories. Kamloops Blazers, family. Dallas Stars, we were family. We went out with the staff. We flew the staff into Buffalo. I mean, that's how it used to be. And then when you go to, like, I go to Tampa quite often, and that's how it is in Tampa. They roll out the blue carpet for you, and they bring you right in. How many times have I been through that building? Well, they take me on a tour every time I come in. Oh, you got to see what we're doing over here. See this new thing we got over here. It's really cool. They're so excited to share that with you. Obviously I missed that part of it. So if I could get you said, I just said it about the thing. Well, that's what I just said too.
Yeah.
If the fans in Canada could be, and they are, this thing, there's a tough, it's, I don't want to be misread by it, but like, well, this guy thinks that the Canadians fans suck. No, that's not it.
No.
It's that they're so in your face and your passion is so incredible. It can be misconstrued the wrong way. And it puts that added pressure on the players of like, man, I just can't leave my house because I don't want to hear it Brian McCabe told me a story. He had the mohawk back when he had his mohawk. He had a dog. He went up. I walked my dog once, and the guys across the street started chirping me because I was minus the night before. We won. I had a goal and 2 assists, and he's chirping me because I was -1. Like, why? And then asked me for tickets to the next game. I go, yeah, well, that's the mentality of most people, right? He goes, exactly. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I harken back to my wife and I were at a spa place about a year ago, and I saw a blue bomber there, but he's on his private time, and he was a pretty notable bomber. And my
Right.
wife was actually shocked I didn't say anything. Well, I said he's on his private time. I've tried to hold back the reins. I've never insulted, but I get that often too. Okay, I ran into that guy or whatever. I've been to an event where there's been bombers and jets. Well, then that's the appropriate time to take a picture.
Right.
It's like, hey, like Mark Shifley, hey, how's it going? Whatever. And it's all within those boundaries, right?
Be a normal person. Yeah, be a normal person. Come up to you, like you just said, go up to me, and if we're in the same bar for an hour and we're walking around, and you maybe bumped into me a couple of times. Hey man, what's up? Hey, are you so and so? Yeah, you went buy the guy a drink.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I don't drink. Oh, okay, cool. Hey man, like, are you cool with taking a picture or something like that? Great. Are you sure? Like, just make sure it's cool.
Yeah.
Don't be and be nice to the guys. We're humans before we put our gear on. And then we're humans when we take it back off.
Yeah.
And people don't think that we're the same guy on the ice that we are off the ice. We're not. We really aren't. And then when you retire, you become someone else because there's a lot of lessons that were learned while you played. I'm not the same person I was when I was 21. I'm not the same person I was when I was 27. I'm a lot different person. Since I retired, I've been through a lot of different things. And you grow as a person. You learn more where you want to be. Give people I like to give people a second chance and a benefit of the doubt. There's a lot of people that I did not get along with earlier in my career, elementary school, high school, middle school, junior. Well, you know what? I've gone back to my hometown and I've met guys that beat me up. I had one guy that knocked out my tooth. Met him in a bar. I was like, oh, geez, this is not going to go good. My wife was there. He walked over. Hey, man, how you doing? You had a great year this year. Da, da, da. I'm a huge fan. I looked at him. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Man, I appreciate that. Do you actually remember? Do you remember? He goes, yeah, dude, you know what? Man, I'm really sorry about that. I was a real asshole when I was in high school. So just want to say sorry for that. Like, you know what? Forgive you. And yeah, you were a real dick. Ha 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 ha. A couple laughs together. Now me and that guy are buddies now. You know, so I'm I'm a firm believer of giving people a second chance. Give Mitch Marner a second chance.
Well, because you hit on something very key here, because at the core of it, the core of all of us, we're all human beings that need to be met at the basic level, right? And
Yeah. Yep.
it's about relationship.
Oh
And
yeah. Look at that.
you know, the goosebumps when you talk about Tortorella, just that again, I harken back to that respect. Those people that have played a key, they were doing it for your good. It's huge. It's awesome.
It is. It is. It really is.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good times, man.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. Anything else before we I try to keep it within an hour, respect everybody's time.
Yeah.
Anything else you kind of want to end off on?
Not really, man. If anybody's, like I said, I want to get back into coaching. I'm excited about it. If you're ever down in Dallas, hit me up. I'm on Instagram, Luco37. I think I'm on Facebook still. I don't know how to do that thing. I might be on Twitter. I think I deleted it, but I see that I have, or oh, it's called X now. So for some reason, I got an X account now again, but I don't really do anything on it. I don't know how to use it. So Instagram's my thing if you want to get a hold of me. Tune into Shoresy if you want to know what hockey's really about and all the funny things and kind of put into that way. Sudbury Bulldogs, those are my boys right there.
Nice.
Terry Ryan, Teddy
Yeah.
Hitchcock, love them. No,
And
gotta love the blue.
You had a picture with
What's
Chad
that?
on Facebook?
Chad, Nickelback, my boys.
Yeah.
Love them. Mikey Kroger, his brother.
Yeah.
Or my man. Ryan Peak. Yeah, they're good guys. Got to see them 2 weeks ago. Oh, it's already a month. So a month's gone by already. Gee whiz. Yeah, we saw them here a month ago at Choctaw. They were in and out. They flew in, did the show, and then flew right back out. And then I saw they just headlined a country concert a little while ago. So again, you know what? Similar situation. You know, like just culture and family. The Nickelback guys are that's probably the coolest guys I've ever met. I don't. They to this day don't know. Well, I think they have an inkling to how big they are, but they really don't. When you talk to them, you're like, these are straight 4 dudes. Well, 3 dudes from Hannah, and a dude from Vancouver. It's straight up. They're the coolest guys to ever. I could call them right now on the phone. They'd probably pick it up and give me crap for calling them so early, but they're just that type of dudes. So and that's why they're so successful. Family and team culture. It's the way to go, and if you can have that, I believe any organization can be successful. Whether it's a hockey organization, baseball, a business organization, if you can create a culture where you're taking care of the people at the bottom, that's how you get the people at the bottom to love the people at the top. And then that just flows up and down. It goes up and down and it's just everybody's just pushing for the same goal. And that's how you get the result that you want.
It's awesome. That's great. I mean, there's some great life here for sure.
You got it. Yeah, we got deep this morning.
We did. I love it. I had an interview last night, and then I watched the Vegas Dallas game, and then up and at 'em and get on with the rest of my day. But I just again love the stories, and again love that you've come on here to share that, and don't be shy to come on again if you want.
Yeah, give me a shout, man.
Okay.
We'll do it again.
Okay,
You got
awesome.
it.
Appreciate it.
All right, bud.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.